Scroll through your feed. What do you see? You see a highlight reel. You see curated perfection. You see vacations, promotions, perfect relationships, and effortless success. You see the smooth, paved, sunlit highway of other people's lives. And then you look at your own life. And what do you feel? You feel the bumps in the road. You feel the potholes, the unexpected detours, the steep, exhausting climbs in the pouring rain. Your road is rough. And in a world that worships the illusion of the smooth path, it's easy to come to a devastating conclusion. You must be doing something wrong. If your life is this hard, you must be on the wrong road. This belief is the source of a deep, modern despair. We feel isolated in our struggles, convinced that we are the only ones fighting a battle. But what if the struggle isn't a sign of failure? What if the roughness of the road isn't a bug, but a feature? What if the very act of walking that road, especially when you feel like giving up, is the most profound act of heroism there is? The Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca, a man who navigated the treacherous heights of power and the depths of personal loss, understood this better than anyone. He starts by completely redefining our concept of bravery. He cuts through the noise of battlefield heroics and grand gestures and tells us a quiet, devastating truth. He wrote that sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Let that sink in for a minute. Courage isn't always a sword and a shield. It's not always the grand, cinematic moment. For most of us, most of the time, courage is a quieter, more stubborn affair. It's the courage of the person wrestling with depression, for whom the simple act of getting out of bed is a declaration of war against the crushing gravity of their own mind. It's the courage of the single parent working 2 jobs, exhausted to the bone, who finds the strength to read their child a bedtime story. It's the courage of the artist who faces the blank page day after day, battling the inner critic that screams they're not good enough. It's the courage of someone grieving, who chooses to face another day in a world that feels empty. This is the courage Seneca is talking about. It's the unseen, uncelebrated, internal battle to simply persist. He understood that the human mind can be a war zone, and that the choice to keep fighting, to keep showing up, to simply choose life when apathy or despair feels so much easier, is the most fundamental act of bravery there is. The great existentialist philosophers of the 20th century, like Albert Camus, would echo this. They argued that we are born into a universe that is fundamentally indifferent and without inherent meaning. The most profound human act, therefore, is to stare into that silent abyss and choose to create meaning anyway. To choose to live, to love, to build, to strive in the full knowledge that the universe doesn't owe you a damn thing. That choice, that rebellion against the void, is an act of supreme courage. There is no better historical embodiment of this quiet, persistent courage than Abraham Lincoln. We see him now as a titan, a marble statue, but the man himself was a raw nerve of human suffering. He was plagued by what his contemporaries called a deep and unshakable melancholy, what we would now call severe chronic depression. He suffered devastating personal losses, including the death of his young son while in the White House. Furthermore, he was ridiculed, hated, and carried the weight of a nation tearing itself apart. By all accounts, there were days when the simple act of living was an almost unbearable burden for him. And yet, he lived. He got out of bed. He led his cabinet. He wrote some of the most beautiful and enduring prose in the English language. He guided a nation through the crucible of the Civil War. His courage was not the absence of despair. His courage was the act of functioning in spite of it. His entire life was a testament to Seneca's words. For Abraham Lincoln, every single day, just to live was an act of courage. So, if the simple act of living requires this quiet, stubborn bravery, where are we all trying to go? We are on a journey, and Seneca is brutally honest about the nature of the terrain ahead. He doesn't sell you a fantasy of a smooth ride. He gives you the hard truth, a truth that is as liberating as it is challenging. He wrote that it is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. This is the universal law of resistance. It applies to everything that matters. You want to build a strong body? You must walk the rough road of torn muscles and physical exhaustion. You want to build a successful business? You must walk the rough road of financial risk, rejection, and 80-hour work weeks. You want to build a deep and loving relationship? You must walk the rough road of difficult conversations, compromise, and confronting your own ego. You want to become a wiser, more virtuous person? You must walk the rough road of confronting your own flaws, admitting your ignorance, and practicing self-discipline when you'd rather be comfortable. The smoothness of the path is inversely proportional to the value of the destination. Smooth roads lead to easy places, and easy places are not the heights of greatness. Our modern culture tries to sell us a lie. The idea that if you're on the right path, it should feel easy and effortless. If you're struggling, it's a sign to quit and find your true passion that won't feel like work. Seneca calls BS on this. The struggle is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. The struggle is the path. The roughness of the road is the price of admission for the journey to the heights. Consider the story of Marie Curie. Today, she is a legend, the only person to win a Nobel Prize in 2 different scientific fields. We see the destination, the heights of greatness, but we forget the road. Her road was brutally rough. She was a woman in a deeply sexist scientific establishment in the 19th century. She faced poverty, xenophobia as a Polish immigrant in France, and constant academic ridicule. Her lab was a leaky shed, and the very material she was working with, radium, was slowly and silently poisoning her. She endured miscarriages, chronic illness, and immense personal loss. Yet she persisted. Her greatness was not a product of her genius alone. It was forged on the rough road of her relentless, courageous struggle. There is a beautiful Japanese art form in philosophy called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, it is not thrown away. It is painstakingly repaired with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The philosophy is that the object is more beautiful and more valuable for having been broken. The cracks are not hidden. They are illuminated, celebrated as part of the object's history. This is a perfect metaphor for the human journey. The rough road will break you in places. You will get scars. You will crack. But these are not signs of your imperfection. They are the marks of your resilience. They are the golden seams that tell the story of your journey. The person who arrives at the heights of greatness is not the one who had a smooth ride. They are the one who was willing to be broken and repaired again and again, and who learned to see the beauty in their own golden seams. So, what do we do with this? How do we walk this road? First, you must learn to read the road. You have to recalibrate your internal GPS. Train yourself to see roughness not as a stop sign, but as a this way to greatness sign. When you feel resistance, when things are hard, when you are tempted to quit, the Stoic response is to lean in and say, "Good. This is the part that makes me stronger. This is the part that matters." Second, you have to celebrate the daily step, because greatness isn't created suddenly. The victory isn't found only at the summit. The real victory is in the quiet, courageous act of taking one more step on the rough road today. It's in getting out of bed when you feel the weight of the world on you. It's in doing the hard work when you'd rather be distracted. This is where the 2 quotes from Seneca merge into one unified philosophy. The great epic journey to the heights is composed of 1,000 small, seemingly insignificant acts of the courage to live. Stop seeking the smooth path. The smooth path is a myth, and even if it existed, it would lead nowhere interesting. The meaning of your life, the substance of your character, and the heights of your potential are all found on the rough road. Remember the words of Seneca, a complete picture of the human condition. First, the journey. It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. And second, the fuel for that journey. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Stop looking for the easy way out. The way out is through. The road is rough. Walk it anyway. Thank you for joining us at the Inner Citadel. If this helped you take another step on your own path, please like this video and subscribe for more tools to build a resilient mind. We'll see you next time.